Would you all agree that where you live is important? I would. That's what I want to talk about this morning. Good morning. Welcome to Integrative Preparedness. Grab yourself something to sip on. I'm drinking today out of our second annual gathering mug because it reminds me of all the great people that I had a chance to be with that day. But grab whatever mug you've got, hopefully out of a Stone Mountain mug. Everything tastes better out of these. And let's talk about where you live and what things you might take into consideration. Now, a lot of people, and I will say this: most people live where they want to. Okay, I know that there's a lot of people trying to tell people you need to move here, you need to move there, wherever. Well, each person has their own reasons for living where they do, and I'm not here to tell anybody that they're wrong, because I can make a case for living anywhere. I can make a case for living way down the dead end road. Okay? Make a good case for that. I can make an equally good case for living in the suburbs where I live. Okay? But I want to throw this out to people because we have a lot of people in the preparedness world that think about this a lot because of how many people are promoting one way or another. Well, I just read that I live, and it's no surprise to me, I just read a news item that said that I live in the second safest city in the United States. Now I'll probably title this "The Safest Place in the U.S." because, I mean, the second safest place in the U.S., who would want to watch that, right? But, and it's too long of a title anyway. I think that the safest place was somewhere in Rhode Island. Warwick, or maybe they pronounce it Warwick, Rhode Island. And then where I live, Overland Park, Kansas. And then I think the third was someplace in Vermont. And not the places that you would think. Well, you might ask, well, how could those places possibly be safe? Because the city in which I live is 200,000. It's a suburb of Kansas City, which the metro area is, I think, 2.5 million, something like that. And Kansas City, the city itself, is not that particularly safe. How in the world could where you live, Steve, be the second safest place in the country to live? Well, because they're using different metrics. And I think that that's an important thing to keep in mind. You know, when we judge what we do, or when we judge what other people do compared to what we do, and everybody has this tendency to think that what they do is the right way, right? I mean, I do. I think that where I live is the right way as the result of the decisions I've made. Other people will disagree. But there's a lot of people out there who are kind of, wondering, well, what would be the right place to live? So I want to read you a couple of things, and then I'm going to expand on it. And unlike those who attack me for living where I do and telling me how stupid I am, I don't tell them that they're stupid. Because, usually when somebody says that somebody else is stupid, it kind of shows their own insecurities. And I don't have too many of those. Okay, I'll read you this. Overland Park, Kansas was ranked the second safest city in the U.S. for 2025 by Wallet Hub. Now, Wallet Hub is a financial situation, right? Okay. The ranking was based on various factors, including home and community safety, financial safety, and natural disaster risk. I will probably never move out of this area. I grew up here. I was fortunate to grow up here, but we have so many people moving. Don't move here. Don't move here. I'm not trying to get you to move here. Please don't. We got enough people here. But you know what? They're nice people. So if you're a nice person, go ahead. If you'd like to, you can move here. And if you're watching this, you're a nice person. So yes, you can move here if you would like. And the people who came to the gathering all said how nice it was right now. Well, let me just tell you kind of some of the rankings, and then we'll go through this. Home and community safety. Overland Park earned high marks for its low crime rates. Yes, we have very low crime rates. Why? Because we have excellent public services, which include law enforcement, fire, and emergency medical. And these departments are very responsive to the will and the welfare of their citizens, because we pay pretty high tax. We pay damn high taxes, but we get the services that those taxes bring. And other people in the preparedness community will say, "Well, you ought to take care of that stuff yourself," and blah blah blah. You shouldn't rely on the government. Well, that's a silly, Okay, you go to the country and the house catches on fire. You know what? The volunteer fire department will come out there. They'll get there as soon as they can, which is going to be a while, and they'll do the best they can, and they might save the cinder blocks on which the house was built. A house catches on fire around here. We had one catch on fire, just a couple of blocks away not long ago. Fire department was there in a couple of minutes. They did some damage, but they rebuilt. So emergency medical. You should be able to take care of medical all by yourself. Well, you can't. You can't take care of everything medical all by yourself. I've told you before that I worked in a hospital for 13 years, and we saw a drastic difference in the outcomes of those who were brought in by ambulance into the ER from those who had lived out in more rural areas than those who lived closer, because you're familiar with that golden hour, right? Whether it's a heart attack, a stroke, an accident, somebody's bleeding out, the sooner you get to the sooner you are responded to by real professional paramedics. And again, nothing against the locals out there who are doing, the EMTs who are doing this on a volunteer basis. You're doing the Lord's work. Good for you. But there is a difference between a volunteer EMT out in the rural areas and professional paramedics in the suburbs. Okay, so the difference is just dramatic in the survival or the positive outcomes of those who were able to get to a real hospital quickly, tended to along the way by professionals. Okay, so that's simply another thing. Police, you call the police. I'll tell you something. My son's car got totaled the other night. Police were there like that. Okay, you take it farther out, and this is not an anti-country. So please, every time I say things like this, somebody will come on and say, "I live out here and I'd never live where." This isn't against you. I'm explaining different things that people might want to consider. Okay, because not everything, I've said you have to be prepared for the worst and for things to keep on going on the way they are. If everything falls apart, like in my books, I should have started out with my commercial and I forgot. If everything falls apart, like in my books, well, yeah, living a little more rurally is probably a great idea. But if everything continues along the way it is, there are other options that are every bit as valid. Okay, so police services. I mean, we have such a low crime rate around here because we have and this is where I started down this road. Our public services are very responsive to the residents, the citizens of the city, because we pay high taxes and we have high expectations. If they don't do what's right, boy, heads roll. And the chief don't like it, well, he's under the gun and he takes care of it. Road safety. The city has low pedestrian overall traffic fatality rates, ranked very high. Financial safety. Here's another one. And here's something that we're going through in a lot of areas in our country right now. A lot of people are suffering, and I hear it on other channels. They're talking about, nobody can find a job, nobody can afford anything. It is not that way in my area. And so when I talk about these things, a lot of people get mad at me. And it's, I don't know where you live, or I don't know what. Well, it's because I live where I live because of my decisions. And so we don't get hit with those same things. So here, the financial safety includes factors like low poverty rate. Okay, there is no poverty around here. High median credit scores. Yes, that's right. Do you know why? Because people around here work their asses off. And I'm not saying that people live other places don't. What I'm saying is that whether you go other places, doesn't matter whether it's city, rural, whatever, you have a high propensity of people who do not. and this doesn't apply to you. I'm sure that you are a hardworking person, but you have a high percentage of people who just aren't on your level, okay? And that creates problems, potential problems for you. You know, whatever you're surrounded by is what you have to deal with, right? Right. Low poverty rate, high median credit scores, strong insurance coverage. How many times do I hear on channels, nobody can afford insurance? Nobody can. Well, see, it's not that way here. Good access to employer based retirement plans. I know some people that say, well, I don't depend on that. You can't depend on that. Well, a lot of people do, and a lot of people can. And a lot of people have retired very, very nicely on these. Okay, so that's all financial safety score. If so, around here, jobs are abundant. Okay, more jobs are coming in all the time, and these are high-paying jobs. The cost of our groceries, I have not seen go up. As a matter of fact, I said the other day, and some people got all argumentative about it. I've seen the prices coming down in our stores, as far as groceries are concerned. We have not been hit, as far as I can see, by any negative impact from the so-called tariffs. Okay, and I hear this on other channels. And let me give you an example of one. Now, you know that one of our businesses is a Christmas light business. Through our supplier, things have gone up very, very little, and by that I mean a penny, maybe per light bulb. Okay, and it all comes from China. A penny a bulb. Okay, do you know how much I pass on to my customers as a result of my increased cost? Nothing. Because when I do a new house, for instance, we're doing a couple of new houses this year. If they take 300 bulbs on their house, it's going to cost me $3 extra. Do I do that? No, I don't do that. When occasionally, we have most of our business is repeat business, and occasionally we'll put up a house, and most houses, because we use very high quality LED bulbs, most houses don't need replacement bulbs, but if they do, they take one or two. Okay, so instead of 96 cents for those bulbs, it cost me 97 cents. You know how much I charge my customers for that? Nothing. I don't. That would be silly. See, that's how that's really how business reacts. Now, we use certain clips, and we get some when we have to get them in a hurry from when we're waiting for a shipment. We get some from Home Depot, not the shingle tabs, but just the ones that hang on the gutter. They're pretty much the same everywhere. Well, I noticed that they went up from $4.98 to $7.98 a box. Well, that's here's the person said that's going up so. Well, how many clips do I need? Okay, there's 75 in a box. And so if I do, say, the average house takes about 150 bulbs. So that's 2 boxes, right? So that cost me an extra $6 on a house that I'm charging $400 to do. And you're getting my point here, okay? I just wanted to throw that in because I think a lot of people are misunderstanding this financial collapse situation. So a lot of factors go into where you live. And some people love the peace and quiet of the country. And some people love the hustle and bustle of the city. And you know what? Neither one of those people are wrong. Both of them are right for them. And I guess that's just kind of a point that I want to get across with this. I see so much provincialism in the preparedness world. I see so much bigotry in the preparedness world. I couldn't care less where somebody lives. And no, I do not, except living in the hood and things like that. That's dangerous, unless you're the predator. Um, but I just see so much of this internal fighting in the preparedness world. And the funny thing is that the preparedness world, you'll get all these people that kind of, I want to live life my way. But if somebody wants to live a different way, well, they're bad. They're stupid. And you know what? You discount a lot of people by doing that. You discount a lot of people that might be very good friends and allies and circle of friends and people of a group who would be there to help you. If you carry around these prejudices. So the safest place to live in the United States is apparently Warwick, Rhode Island. I'm not moving to Rhode Island. I like it out here. I like it in Kansas. I love it in Kansas. You probably love it in Texas. You love it in Tennessee. You love it in Wyoming. And you love it in New York. And that's great. And everybody lives where they want to or where they've decided to as a result of certain things that are important to them. Right? So let's give each other a little break, shall we? And say, man, you live a life that's a little bit different than mine? How about that? How about the fact that we don't all have to be alike in order to enjoy knowing each other and being good people and having good friends and being able to rely on somebody, right? I mean, well, I'm not even going to go down that road. But you get my meaning, right? Hey, if you would like, before I let you go, if you would like to read a great series, people tell me, because I wrote them and people tell me, the complete plan for preparing for, surviving, and rebuilding after a total collapse of everything, may I remind you about my book series, the Stonemont series, the reversion, the revival, the renewal, and appeal to heaven, the blessings of freedom, hostages to fortune, and on wings like eagles. I got these a little crooked here, don't I? And if you haven't read them, you'll love them. You'll love the story. You'll learn a lot. You'll learn more than you can shake a bundle of sticks at. I guarantee you that. And you can get them a couple of different ways. One is through Amazon. That link's down below. Or you can get them directly from me through our website, stonemont.us. That link is also down below. If you do it that way, and I love it when you do it that way, I sign each one for you, and I write a note in each one for you, and we give them to you as a little discount, because if you buy them as a set, which you can't do through Amazon, you can buy the whole set through us, because we save money in shipping and handling and all that. So there you go. If you haven't read them, you love them, you'll learn a lot. And remember, like we always say, we prepare well today in order to live well tomorrow, but we each prepare our way. And we each prepare according to what we think are the most probable problems we will have to deal with. And when we prepare the way that we think we should, hopefully we're right? Okay. You all have a good day. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.